Hi everyone and welcome to today's class. This class is going to be stretching our hips out. So if you've got tight, front of the hips, back of the glutes, up through the back of the hamstrings, this is going to be a lovely class for you. So what we're going to do to start with is we're going to take a seat on our mat and we're going to begin with the knees bent. And we're going to have the feet about hip width apart, and we're going to start off with a little bit of a forwards fold. So I'm going to get you to take your body all the way forward over your legs. You're going to take a hold of the back of the ankle or even the calf muscle if you prefer, and then just stretch your body down by pulling with your arms as you curve forward. From there, we're going to release a little, and then we're going to come back into it. And we're going to release and come back into it. Now, I want you to think of your head really dropping at the same time. So as you round forward, we let the head release at the same time. Now from here, can we inch the feet away a little bit more? You still might have a bit of a bend in the knees. And we'll do the same thing. Now, sometimes the tighter we feel, or when we increase a stretch a little bit more, we really will find that our breath will help us to relax into it. So we're going to take a breath in, and as we breathe out, we're just going to feel a little bit more depth in the stretch. So again, we would breathe in, and as we breathe out, we would find a little bit more depth there. Remember that feeling of pulling with the arms as you curl your body forward. Last breath. Then we're going to stretch the legs all the way out now. And again, back of the calf muscle or back of the ankle, we would take a breath in. And as you breathe out, relax a little bit deeper. Now we're going to add what we call some neural flossing to this, which just means that we're going to stretch your nerves as well as your muscles. So we're going to start by pointing the toes. Now as we point our toes, we're going to let our head drop. And then as we lift the head, we flex the feet or reach into the heels of the feet. We point the toes, the head drops or the chin comes closer to the chest. We flex the feet and we look towards them over the toes there. We point the toes, drop the head, flex the feet, lift the head. Because our nerves run all the way from our toes up through our spine and to our brain, it's important that we move the feet and the head at the same time to what we call floss those nerves or get that nerve stretching. I'm going to do 3 more of these. And then after your last one, we'll sit up and take a little break. Now from here we're going to flip over onto all fours, and we're going to start off with a little calf muscle stretch or stretch through the back of the legs here. So I'm going to get you to start on all fours, tuck your toes under, and then lift your knees and come up into a downward dog style position. Once we get there, we soften one knee and we reach the opposite heel for the floor. And then we switch. And then we switch again. So we're just going to go back and forth from one to the other, or they call it walking out through the feet. Now, when you walk out through your feet, if you lower your right heel to the floor and just engage through the front line of your right leg a little bit, just notice how it can increase the stretch in the back of the leg. So when we switch, if you were to think of engaging just a little bit through the front of your left thigh, it actually allows you to stretch out more in the back of the left leg. Good work. We're going to do one more on each side. And then from there, we're going to take the right leg and bring it underneath our body and come into a pigeon stretch. So we slide the left leg out. Keep that bend through the right leg. I like to imagine my right heel is lined up with my left hip bone, basically in line with one another. Now you might be up on your hands and really feeling that right hip stretch, and so that might be as far as you're going to go. If you were wanting to increase the stretch, you might lower down onto your forearms from there and just feel that little bit more depth in your right hip. And then you might even take it further where you stretch out through your arms and let your forehead rest down into the mat. If the stretch makes you feel more tense, then it's too far. You want to feel like you can actually relax into the stretch and not feel like your muscles are tensing to get there. So you want to find the most appropriate position for you. So for me, it's up on my forearms. If I go any further down, my body tends to tense up a little bit more. So again, we're going to take a nice big breath in. And as you breathe out, just feel your body relaxing into the stretch. So breath in and out. We're going to take one last breath here. And then we're going to slowly make our way up onto our hands. We're going to tuck those back toes under, step back into that downward dog, and step the left foot through. Walk the right leg out and find your appropriate stretch. So again, it might be up on your hands like so. It might be down on your forearms. It might be right down with the forehead down. Try and feel that when you're in the stretch, you're not leaning over into this left hip like so, but your hips are square with the mat and you've got equal weight between your right thigh and your left leg. So you're right in the center there. And then again, we take a nice big breath in and out. The breathing really does help. So you want to take a breath in and then feel your breath out. Just let your body relax a little bit further into the stretch. Last breath here. And then from here, the way we're going to get out of this one is we're just going to sit down onto our left hip and we're going to pull the right leg through. So then we're in our Z-sit position, which I'm sure most of you are quite familiar with. Now, this one's a little bit more of a challenge, and it's not so much a holding stretch, but just getting the hips moving and flowing. I want you to see if you can not touch the ground, so just leave the arms out to the sides and pull your right leg in like you're going into cross-legged position and left leg out. And so now you're in your Z-sit the opposite way. And feel free to kind of settle into this position before you switch back again. Don't feel like you have to rush it. So then again, the left foot would come around and the right leg would go back and we would find our Z-sit back on the first side. And again, just notice the difference in the hip. So my right's a little bit tighter than my left, I can feel that. And then when you're ready, you're going to switch them back again. And you might notice that your knees feel different or your ankles feel different. Now from here, we've got that left leg to the left and the right leg coming into the left. The next step I want you to try is coming up on your knees. Can you come up on your knees and send your hips forward and then sit back down? So make your way up, send the front of the hips forward and sit back down. It's a great one for your hip mobility. Can you switch to the other side, switch those legs around and do the same thing? So we start seated and then we send the pelvis forward, open up the front of the hips and come back down. One more time, and then we're going to add something else. We're going to come up, switch your feet and sit down. Come up, switch, sit down. So we're switching now at the top of the movement. Good work. We're going to do one more on each side. And then we're going to pause. So we've got our left foot pointing to the right, right foot pointing to the right. Now from here we're going to go into a little inner thigh stretch. So what I'm going to get you to do is take your right leg out to the side, come up onto your left knee, really feel like your right leg, you could press the outside border of your foot down into the mat. And then come onto both hands from there. Now from here, could you sit your bum right back towards the heel of the foot and you'll feel a good stretch up through the inside of that right leg and then come forward. So we sit that bum back, feel that stretch and then come forward. Again, we're going to breathe with the stretch, out to go back, in to release, out to go back, in to release. One more time. And then what we'll do is we'll come forward, we'll tuck the right knee in and send the left leg out. And we're back into it. So we're breathing out to sit that pelvis back, feeling that left inner thigh stretching. Lovely. We're going to do one more of these. But if at any of the video in the class you just feel like you want to spend a little bit more time there, feel free to just hit the pause button, spend a little bit more time on the areas that you need to. It's definitely the beauty of doing it all online in your own time at your own home. Now from here we're going to keep the left leg out to the side, and I want you to turn towards that left leg. Now I've had a recent hamstring injury, so I'm really not going to push this one too much. So you might notice that I just kind of hold back a little bit. So we're going to frame the front foot with the hands, and we're going to rock the body forward so you can feel a little bit of a stretch up the front of that right leg. And then from there we're going to lengthen out through the left leg. You can walk your hands back as you go. And then again, we rock forward, open up through the front of the right hip as you look forward. Send the pelvis back and feel the back of the left leg lengthening as you look down. So we rock forward, rock back, look down. And it's really nice to have that rule of thumb. Use the breath out for those really sticky, stiff spots. So for me, it would definitely be the back part of this movement. Now when we switch over, we're going to pull that left leg back, step the right foot forward, about hip width apart, and do the same thing. So we're going to rock the body forward and look forward, rock the body back and look down. Again, if one side feels really different to the other, you could always hit the pause button and spend a little bit longer on that side that needs a little bit more attention. Last one here. And then we're going to rock back and pull that knee back. We're going to tuck our toes under. And from the toes tucked position, we're going to come and bring the feet back. Nice deep squat. Hands are going to stay close to the mat. They might not stay flat. You might come up onto your fingertips, or you might not be able to completely touch the floor with the hands. But we're just going to start to lengthen the back of the knees. Don't feel like you have to straighten them. I want you to enjoy the stretch and not feel like you're tensing just to get in a certain position. Just work with what your body has got. So we let the head go, we let the arms go. You might just slowly start to lengthen the back of the legs if that feels good. If it feels like more of a muscle stretch to keep the knees soft, then I would definitely keep the knees soft here. There's no rule that you have to have your legs straight. We breathe out and we roll up through the body. We take a breath in at the top and we breathe out to roll back down through the body. We're going to do 2 more of these. So this is our last one here. I hope you enjoyed your hip stretching class, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.